Hello, fellow Guardians. Welcome to the Doc's Daddy Gaming channel. Today, we're dropping a video about Destiny 2, Episode Act 1 and 2 of Heresy, in preparation for Act 3 dropping April 1st. Don't forget, if you like the content, please click the subscribe button and help build the channel. Now let's deep dive into some Hive mythos. So let's start this by touching on that opening sequence with Eris Morn, aka Moondust, being killed by the Subjugator. Honestly, pretty shocking for any fans of the fellow hunter. Then it cuts to the Drifter jumping off of that platform into the abyss. It had me laughing. I mean, I know love will have you doing crazy things, but how did he survive that? And so then we discover Eris has her hipster flat in the last city, full of worm gods and shaping slabs. And speaking of worm gods, how do I steal this one? We also discover Sloan has the ability to harness Taken power. First off, nice to see the Vanguard Titan Sloan back since the departure of the Moon Titan. I think these two coming together to combat the Hive on the Dreadnaught was a perfect recipe for Destiny. From the lore of Heresy and Truth, we find that Okora didn't want to send a hunter or the hidden, but someone with resolve of will, a Titan. Sloan would be her choice. From there, we get introduced to Ascendant Anchors, discovered on Earth and various other planets, with the intention of crossing the parallel of the Ascendant Plane. I learned in this act that Akka, the worm god of secrets, its husk was actually used to build the Dreadnaught by Oryx. Eris informs us that something unseen has awoken the husk and the Hive on the Dreadnaught. We get access to the Tablet of Ruin, this season's artifact, and we start on the path of resolve. Sloan rigs up a plan to use the Ascendant Anchors against their creators. Here is where we get the introduction to using the Taken power ourselves. Us Guardians continue fighting through Savathûn and Oryx's throne worlds as we are cryptically guided by the Lightbearer wizard Uzaku. We get a deeper understanding of the Drifter's feelings and his relationship with Eris. As we discover and uncover secrets throughout the Dreadnaught, we gain access to the Taken Osseous fragments and the exotic weapon Baro Dyad. Now let me say, when I first saw this design, I was definitely turned off by how much it reminded me of the face suckers from Alien, but this design and weapon has definitely grown on me over time. We are sent on a mission to obtain Dreadnaught biocodes from defeating 3 Hive wizards: Zaruk Omniblade Navigator, Yor Halaku Lightsinger, Ilex Celebrant of Oryx. Once we obtain these and we use these on the Dreadnaught weaponry, we are introduced into the Echo of Oryx, the first Navigator. Xivu of Wrath and Savathûn, siblings of Oryx, join to the party and fill the Echo in on the demise and who their killer was. Oryx's Echo calls us their heir and speaks on sword logic as we escape the Dreadnaught. As we make our way back to Eris's flat, we are greeted by a ghost projection of Drifter's ominous goodbye speech. As he stated, "I was already halfway gone." From the lore of Heresy and Truth, the Drifter was discovered by Sloan in Eris's apartment, where Harm Carbone clasped in his hands as he wished for Eris's resurrection. At the end of Act 1, we are left with the mission to destroy the Echo of Navigation and defeating Oryx again, all while the Echo of Oryx conjures his own test. At the start of Act 2, we are introduced to the Court of Oryx, where the Hive God logic is proved in violence. The Echo of Oryx constantly refers to us as his heir, and proclaims only the strongest can claim the Taken throne. This mode is fast, full of ads, and filled with Hive ascendants donning overshields attached to Hive puzzles. Personally, I think the mode is quick, fun, challenging, and you really have to be quick to pick up on each instance. Through various runs of the Nether and the Court of Oryx, we unlock dialogue from the Echo of Oryx, Xivu of Wrath, and Savathûn. We then receive communication from Eris Morn, directing us to reforge Oryx's sword Willbreaker, cut the Ascendant Plane, and find the path to her. After obtaining the shards from various locations and missions, the Echo of Oryx praises our further pursuit of the Taken power and confirms he will not interfere with this journey. Along with this, we hear from the Drifter about his fruitless departure and reassures us of his commitment to our cause. We wield the Taken Willbreaker and exact vengeance on the Taken enemies until we come to a green rift. As we step into the rift, we find Eris, now a god in her own throne world, which she named High Heresy. The cutscene here delves into the backstory of the original lore of the Hive gods and transitions into their current conquests. This was an awesome cutscene in my opinion. I wish I would have saved it and was able to play it for you guys in this video, but if you haven't made it here in Act 2 yet, really take the time to take the video in. Sloan is pleased strategically that we have a hold in the Ascendant Plane. Eris states we must trap and capture the Echo in her throne world and use its powers to our advantage. Drifter tells us he is on recon duty to hunt down more shards of Oryx's sword. We head below the moon's surface, where we come across an ogre being offered by wizards, a power the Hive doesn't possess according to Eris. She alludes to a hidden hand being at work. We interrupt the ritual and sever the ties in the plane of offering. Eris confides in us that there is a disconnect between the Taken King and the Taken that fled the Dreadnaught. Savathun attempts to plead with the Echo of Oryx and her description of the witness's betrayal, but the memory of Oryx cannot waver in his faith in sword logic. Eris explains how Oryx craved the secrets of the deep, but was denied by Akka. Oryx then slayed the Godworm, communed himself with the deep, and obtained the Taken power. We're sent to the Dreadnaught to gather peeled flesh of the Akka husk, with the goal of binding Oryx and the Echo in Eris's throne world. Sloane shows her apprehension with this Taken power, stating Eris's faith, but Eris interprets that as ambition. After the Catalyst mission for Baro Dyad, Eris speaks on the crumbling trust between the siblings, onto Oxalana. We are on the path of ambition now. We meet Eris on the Dreadnaught. She asks us to thwart the enemy forces of Xivu Arath and Savathun as she binds the Echo of the Navigator to her throne world. The Echo of Oryx appears, as well as the Subjugator, the resident knife, first of the Reshaped. After the hard-fought battle and Subjugator's defeat, we arrive in High Heresy with the Taken King trapped in her throne world. Sloane wants to destroy the Echo to limit its potential escape, but Eris wants to interrogate and learn as much as she can to aid in our path of ambition. Act 2, Episode 3 ends with the Drifter admitting to being in contact with the Hidden and that they've been keeping tabs on Savathun. The Drifter insists that our battle with Savathun will happen sooner rather than later. He continues with his recon of finding information. Per the lore from Heresy and Truth, upon return, the Drifter met with Sloane on the Drifter ship and went over battle plans. Here she shares with him that Xivu Arath being the first target. The Drifter asks her, "Got any use for a list of places the Lucent Brood's been seen?" So that's my summary to this point with Act 1 and Act 2 of Heresy. Hopefully we're all caught up and refreshed and ready to tackle Act 3 next week. If I missed any important lore, or you want to add to the lore, please comment in the section below. Also, feel free to share your opinions and feelings on Heresy to date and what you think is in store for Act 3. Please subscribe to the channel, check out my SoundCloud and Twitch streams, follow and subscribe to those, and until next time, check your clips, deck your ships, and tip your ghosts.